Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to Abbey. I must apologise for what I assume is going to be a delay in content. For one thing, because I don't have proper internet until the 7th of March, I am about to run out of my Vodafone 4G box thingy that I bought to be able to upload YouTube videos and keep making content for you guys, so I have to get another one, so there might be a day or two where I can't upload the video, but this is Killer Marksman Invader, along with a platoon of Object 140s, it would seem. Just another update. Why is there no sound? Okay, let me just sort that out. Okay, so for some reason that worked. What I was going to say is that another reason that there will be lacking content is because I was on a film shoot up in Brighton for a day. That was yesterday. So, shenanigans. I saw Drowning in Sunshine at the same group of people who did Drowning in Sunshine, which was the TV online series, sort of like 2 years ago that I did. That was filmed partly in Miami, so it's so different, but different in a good way. But for the short film this time, I had to, I was a panda-faced, oh, let me just shut that out. I had to be a panda-faced dragon. They went into bouncy castle. That there were the knights of the olden ways, and there were privies to be had in the pantry, but fear ye not be late, otherwise thou shalt have to kiss the hare's foot. Or it got weird. But yeah, that was fun. So hopefully I'll be able to share that with you at some point. But let us get into War of the Tanks, shall we not? Okay, so Killer Marksman Invader, the title of this replay when he sent it to me was, "Put this on YouTube's Thou Shalt Not." Well, you shall not. I'm still in my film mode. You shall not grant it. So, as always, I don't know what the hell is gonna go on, but I want to regret it, apparently. So, let's do an analysis. We've got 3 arty. Now, 1, 2, 3 TDs on the enemy team. 8-9 line for the Object 140 platoon, I do think is the best outcome, because with a Wolfpack mentality, here you're likely to have a lot more angles, a lot more engagements, you're likely to have multiple engagements to make here, whereas going to the 8-9 line in an Object 140 platoon, it's likely that you're all going to be able to make the one engagement that wins the flank at the same time. Say about here, or here, or here, and you've won the flank. Not the case with here, because you'll get tanks pushing up, you'll have a fight here, you'll have a fight here, and you have the remainder of the forces here. So, 8-9 line, probably the best option for them here. So, let us see how it goes. Object 140 Wolfpacks. Is there any better thing to be witnessing? Oh. Okay, so it's got forces on the 1-2 line, is team in the middle. They do seem to have taken the middle, despite the fact that I would have anticipated both of the Centurion axes trying to oppose them. That said, one axe is platooned with an E4 and an IS-7. The IS-7 has just been spotted on the other side with the E4, so we can assume that the axe is over there as well. Oh, you poor sod, Mr. IS-7. Wow, they're really going for the arty. Interesting decision, but does get that massive gun out of the way. Alright, and he wants to push forward here, which he is doing, to get in cover from the flanking fire put in by that pattern. That way it was there, he might have had shots inside, so it's good to see him moving this way. While he finishes off what remains of the tier 10 Russian heavy. T95 camping in base, or, well, to be honest, he was probably trying very hard to move towards the enemy team. He's just a T95, so. Oh, poor Patton. Has he found... Those buildings might be destructible. I can't work it out at this stage, but it seems like Are they going to go for it together? There's only one T95 in base. There's only a certain amount of time that they want to sit here with 2 enemy arty in play. To be honest, sure, the T95's got a dangerous gun, but the longer you stay here, the more likely it is for 1, the enemy RT to position here, turn around and start harassing you, and 2, for these TDs to notice and get back into these kind of positions to protect this T95, and at that point it becomes extremely difficult. So I would like to see them taking more of a Wolfpack mentality, especially when this E100 pushes up behind them. I really do think I should go over and just charge this guy, as I think that waiting is a poor play, but a Patton's exposed himself, foolishly enough. What the hell is he doing? Okay, see yourself, dude, jeez. Ah, okay. Making a decision to fall back to base. Now that's an interesting one, to be honest, because the E50 is outflanking, the E100 is pushing. I think we could have mapped up base here with a push at the start. Obviously, the later it got, as we can see, those Centurion axes relocating back into a position for supporting fire. But if they continue to attack when they first got into those positions, it's likely they would have been able to clean out the base and put pressure on. But looking at how the enemy team responded with the forces that they sent back, it could well have meant their gruesome and unpleasant demise. Who can tell? In either case, they've now consolidated their position to an area that is flexible. They're now in the middle of the map, still working together as a platoon, and this is just a perfect platoon play. I mean, they're just all together. The focus fire, the potential that this line of tanks has just together is just, oh my word. And I like the fact that as soon as the enemy gets spotted harassing the base, they're also going to have flanking fire into it as well. But that said, what's likely to happen with the base is that the T4E1 will pop up here and the E5 will knock out the RT one by one from this position, so they won't get many shots at base. But that's always assuming that the E5 didn't fall back to his own base with the rest of his team and actually pushed up. We shall see. Alright. Patience. Enemy object 261 just took out the E100. That was a poor shot from T95. T54E1 has taken down one of the RT himself. Looks like I want to bully this Death Star. 600 damage. And the next salvo going out. Wobble ammo. Wow, I did not know. That's lucky. What, T69. Yorktown advancing. It was very lucky, in fact, from the Object 140 with its 100mm of frontal armor to bounce those shells while it was angling downwards. I mean, on the flat land, the Object 140's lower plate, being the same thickness as the upper plate, is actually thicker. So you want to shoot the upper plate of the Object 140 if you have around 210mm of pen, because with 200, 210, you're going to actually bounce off the lower plate more often than you will off the upper plate. So angling the upper plate downwards, I'm quite surprised you didn't see the pin there. Oh dear, that is not going to be pleasant. Oh, T95 with the stock gun. That's it's pretty damn good news for these guys. So what they're doing right now, pushing up the 2 Object for these Natalex and Killer through the alleyway. They're going to get vision. Yorktown's going to move from the middle onto the balcony position above. Oh, let me see if I can get the free cam working. So Yorktown's going to move up to the edge of the balcony here, which will allow him to go hold down and get complete vision over base. One thing he does need to be aware of is flanking fire from that T110E4. If he's not careful, he's going to get shot in the ass by that guy. What this can also do is, once they clean up base, which they will do pretty quickly, I think, they can all use the middle to defend this Yak Panther, and certainly Yorktown's going to be able to relocate very swiftly to defend the Yak Panther. What you do want to be aware of is this Cent Axe coming out the middle with supporting fire from this E4 and harassing York, but we'll deal with that situation when and if it occurs. Now, were it not for Yorktown in the middle, I'd suggest the use of HE shells by the Object 140s here. Just because, even with a relatively low caliber gun like the 100mm that you get on these tanks, you're still going to do maybe 30 damage to an E5 with a single shot. And with two of them, you're likely to take him out very quickly. So got York as fire support, all they need to do is get adequate vision, but the E5 has left the base. You've got to hurry up at this point. It's the three of them left. E5 goes down along with their T92. And they have cleaned up base successfully. Alright, so the three of them and the T92 who's skulking away in the back there versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks. Enemy have got 3 tier 10s, we have 4, but the enemy have got T95, T9, and 2 of them are arty. So, high ground. One thing we want to avoid is we want to avoid the enemy team taking the middle. The middle is an extremely powerful position on this flank. But, judging... I mean, we got to bear in mind, the T95 can't leave base. The Centurion Axe is last spotted coming down the north line, so we're going to assume that that's where he still is. Right now, I would attack that T124 and T69, because they're kind of the most isolated that will be easy to take out. And the reason why I say that is because this position here, this balcony position, is stronger than this position. It's harder for that Centurion Axe to attack on this corner and get a decent result out of it. Not only because the arty's here, but because this land is just so easily counterable by positions like here and here. So we want to take this because it's high land. We want to secure this because it's high land. So I would say stick with Yorktown in the middle because he's not going to be harassed by anything, judging by where the center axe is. And push these Object 140s out onto the flank, take out the T110E4 and to the T69 if he's there as well. That way, if anyone wants to attack the middle, they have flanking fire on that as well. Yorktown can focus back fire on the base, and if anything attacks him, they've got fire from here. And these guys can fall back to base if anything is spotted. So that would be my call for the time being. We'll see what they decide to do. But there's always thrilling. Does look like Natalix is pretty keen on moving out to the 1-2. And York is relocating down in the middle. It looks like they're all going to go to the same position, which is certainly not a bad idea. Obviously, keeping that Wolfpack mentality, there's not really a lot that can go wrong. But in terms of... I do think this is a nice play, actually. As that center axe lit up on T92. But I don't know, there's a lot in me that really wants to keep that middle position just because it is so valuable in defending base. And if the enemy were to take it with their center axe and T69 with the E4 on the flank and T95 at base, it would be remarkably difficult to outplay them now. But not going in one by one, they're sending Natalix down on the western pass to get behind the E4, and Yorktown's going to group up with Killer as he moves up here, tapping R to keep his speed in check. And I reckon, the E4 fell back out of the bottom, out of the flanking maneuver. That's well played to the E4. I don't know whether he knew, but he's pulled back and avoided being surrounded on both sides, which is nothing but good play. So is the T69 behind him, and do we care? I mean, if the T69 fires heat with 250mm a pen, E4 misses, I reckon that's probably the end. These guys are stopping. I don't know. Maybe they're concerned about the T69, but the T69's only got so much clip potential, and they're leaving themselves open for the artillery. They managed to secure the E4 before he can reload. And now who's following them? Hello, Mr. American. I just keep going. Leave it to your platoon mates. That was a risk. Right there, killer. That was a risk. Wow, heat shells from the Centurion Axe, not giving him any luck. Head to the right, head to the right, head to the right. Come. 80mm of spaced armor on the side. Well, not 80mm. Spaced 80mm of armor covered by 20mm of spaced track armor, just eating that heat shell there. So, are they going to only commit one object one fully to that T-69? Looks like they are, which is more than enough, unless someone else gets involved. And Killer, again, just being patient, waiting for fast support from Natalix, is gonna take the Cent Axe together. And Natalix leads, being on higher hit points. And bless the Centurion Axe. As hard as he might try, his heat shells are just not going to help him out of a Wolfpack situation. 2 object 1 full. That was 55 tons of just more British brutality. Just if that had touched him, oh my word, that would have been the end of days for Mr. Killer here. Does look like they're well aware that they got 6 minutes to wrap up this game. Now, the Object 261 is a fast artillery, and it looks like they are thinking that maybe the 261 will be trying to worm his way out down the 9 line. And this is fantastic play again, because they got one of them on the high ground. They got Yorktown on the high ground, spotting that T-95 at will. They're going to push Natalix up below him, see if he can flush out the artillery, and if not, he's most likely going to go and get under the T-95 here, because if he does that, if the T-95 rushes him, Yorktown's got fast support, and Natalix can just run about. And they're sending Killer all the way wide as an insurance policy for the Object 261 if he's pushing down the 9 line. And plus, it's only going to be a matter of time before Killer completes the complete outflanking maneuver and gets up behind the T-95 anyway. So, there's really, with the positions that they're taking, there's really not any chance that they're going to lose this game. It looks like Killer's going to go from the middle from his movements, which is, I mean, hell, the Archie's not going to cap out at this point. And Yorktown takes down the T-95. I don't know the circumstances of that, whether Natalix was successful in baiting him into the assault, and Yorktown just shot him in the engine deck as he came over or some such, or maybe it was the use of heat shells. Well then, hello, Mr. Russian. Okay, Yorktown gonna go for glory here. Are they gonna let York get his Top Gun? Woblano! Gentlemen. What a splendid performance. 13 kills at tier 10. It matches my record, which was in a platoon with Block and Jadeg. 13 kills at tier 10 is just, it's kind of once in a lifetime, once in 20,000 games, because generally you're expecting competence on the enemy team. But that said, this game didn't come about through the fruits of the enemy team's utter incompetence, but through the results of this platoon constantly working together and working splendidly as a Wolfpack, and knowing what was required at all constant times throughout the game. They never split up, they never made any reckless decisions, they just constantly put themselves in positions where there was no doubt that whatever happened, that they were going to be able to handle it, and that's exactly what medium tank platoons are about. And so, fantastic game to watch and to learn from. So, thank you for this, gentlemen. It was an absolute pleasure, and you are right, Killer. I will not regret having this as my 7th replay. For Subscriber Week and concluding it for the time being, we'll be heading back to more stream highlights and game in-depth analysis of my own gameplay. But until then, gentlemen, I'll bid you a fond farewell. What? What? How is that a thing? Now I can focus on my gameplay. Headache! I will...
Violated number 1 rule.
Oh, there he is.
He's camping.
Get him.